In this video, I'm going to break down 5 key lessons that I've learned about money and will help you tremendously on your financial journey. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Now, before we jump into the more advanced concepts when it comes to money, let's just talk about first what money even is. Money is just fiat currency, paper backed by nothing but trust and good credit. Money is simply just an exchange of value. So money is not backed by gold or anything tangible, it's backed by belief. When banks give you a credit card or they approve you for a mortgage, that money did not exist before. It's not like they just have all that money just sitting in a vault somewhere. It was simply created the moment that they said approve. So if money isn't scarce and it can be created at will, why is it that most people stay broke? The answer is because they've been taught to work for money instead of learning how to have money work for them. The second most important lesson is that money must continue to move. And so here's what school should have taught us. Money just sitting in your bank account is losing value every single day. So the key to financial freedom isn't just letting money sit in a bank account and then just saving it and penny pinching until you have a large sum of money. The key is to store money up until the point where you have an investment that you can invest it into that will produce a monthly return in form of cash flow and also appreciate in value over time. Because the reason why wealthy people continue to get wealthier and wealthier is because the majority of their money is sitting in assets, things that go up in value and give them consistent monthly cash flow. And so like I said earlier, money is a currency. Just like water is a current, it must keep moving to acquire new assets at today's prices so it can benefit from inflation tomorrow. And inflation doesn't mean that prices are going up necessarily. It means that the value of the dollar is going down. So in order to purchase the same items, it requires more dollars. And so when you understand this, you can benefit from inflation, because when you also focus on moving most of your money into assets that cash flow and increase in value, like real estate, businesses, and other types of investments, your money will continue to grow over time. Whereas the majority who are still focusing on saving money just to save it will end up having less money over time because the value of those dollars will just continue to go down. And so I can give you guys an example. Back in 1980, $100,000 had the same purchasing power as $400,000 today. So that means that if you had $100,000 back then and you invested it into investments that continue to keep up with inflation, you wouldn't have $100,000 anymore, you'd have $400,000. And so this is why investing into yourself and into investments that continue to go up in value is so key. Now moving on to the third lesson is that if you want to make more money, you must solve bigger problems. Your income is directly tied to the size and the quality of the problems that you solve. And so the reason that CEOs, real estate investors, or hedge fund managers earn more money isn't because they're lucky or even that they work harder. It's simply because they solve more valuable problems. And so if you want to continue to increase your income, learn how to sell solutions to people's problems. It's that simple. The fourth lesson is that wealth is ownership, even if it's partial. And so the biggest key when it comes to this lesson is that being rich just means that you earn a lot of money. Being wealthy means that you own things that earn a lot of money. And not even necessarily you owning just things that earn a lot of money, but you own things that are worth a lot of money. So if you were to sell them, you would have access to a lot of cash. So you want to know the real cheat code? You don't need to own 100% of anything to really be wealthy. Wealthy people simply control pieces of really, really large assets. So they may own 10% of a $1 billion real estate syndicate or 5% of a high revenue business. And so what is a real estate syndicate? A real estate syndicate pretty much is just a group of real estate investors that pool all their money together so that way they can acquire larger properties at scale. And so every investor in the transaction will own a small piece of the actual properties themselves. And so the biggest lesson here is that control is the ultimate goal, not 100% ownership. The person who owns 10% of a $1 billion pie is way wealthier than someone who owns 100% of a $1 million pie. Just let that sink in. And now the fifth and final lesson is that net worth is greater than income. And so don't flex how much you make, flex how much you are worth. And so when it comes to net worth, what even is that? Liquid net worth is the money that you'd have if you sold everything that you owned that can be converted into cash, like real estate, pieces of businesses that you own, or other things that you can sell. And then you take that cash and you pay off what you owe. And then whatever's left over is what you call liquid net worth. And so now when it comes to earned income, it's always going to be taxed at the highest rates, but net worth is not taxed. And the way that you access this net worth is that instead of selling what you own and converting that into cash, wealthy people will borrow against what they own tax-free and continue to scale. And this is why wealth is truly measured in liquid net worth and not your income or your paycheck. So the biggest takeaway I want you guys to get from this video is that people who control money are the ones who win. The people who chase it and work super hard for it stay stuck. And like I said, money is created out of thin air by the banks, and it's constantly flowing every single day. So there is no shortage of money. But the school system didn't fail to teach you about money on accident, because the school system was never designed to create wealth builders. It was designed to create workers. And so now that you know the game, it's time to play it differently. And so if you're serious about getting ahead financially and finally learning how to use credit and money the right way to acquire real assets, I built something just for you. Click the link in the description to get a free funding game plan. It'll show you step by step how to unlock up to $250,000 in business credit and use it the right way to build, scale, and invest just like the wealthy. And so with that being said, my name is Jalil Nash, founder of JSN Funding Solutions, and I'll see you guys in the next video.